This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
This is Take on the World with
Johnny
and Mike. And, people always ask me, hey, you got a podcast? What's it about?
I don't know. You ever want to cut your fingers off or learn about a sharp knife?
We could tell you that.
How about murder mysteries or hauntings or any kind of fringe subject?
Anything you could think of. We take on everything because we take on the world.
Now you go take on the world.
This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
We'll do it live! Fuck it!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Deluxe Edition. I am your host, Casey Shearer, and joining me once again, Ray, the podcaster.
What's going on, my friend?
Oh, man, a lot is going on, Ray. I've been traveling throughout California. We didn't record this past weekend, so we're doing a fly-by-the-night recording here.
Yes, sir. That's kind of cool, though, huh?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm a little worried about the storm coming to Tallahassee. I'll be extending my stay in California throughout the week so I don't get caught in any weather. So by the time you're listening to this, hopefully everything is still okay in Tallahassee. And I still won't be back home for the next recording. But hopefully everything will be okay there. I just laid before we get into the show, I laid like 1,400 pounds of concrete and a lot of soil and some new sod this past week during my week off. And I'm worried about it holding during the storm. So yeah, there is a lot going on, Ray.
So it's your fault that there's a storm.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
It's kind of like if you wash your car, it's going to rain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I don't wash my car ever. I just wait for the rain.
Yeah. And then afterwards you go, man, I should have put some soap on that thing as hard as it's raining.
All right. Let's get the house cleaning out of the way here, Ray, before we get into our show. It's going to be more of like a free range show, free roaming show today.
That's right. Just like one of them grass-fed beef things.
Yeah. Oh, I just fed. Do you know if you buy grass-fed beef, you should look to see that it's also grass finished. I just found this out. Do you know about this?
No, because I buy beef. I don't care what it eats. It could be crack-fed beef. I don't care, as long as it tastes good.
All right, we are a part of the Deluxe Edition Network. You can find all the other great shows over at deluxeeditionnetwork.com. And our podcast of the month this month for October is The Return of the Living Flet. Kyle, he does unboxings, reviews, movie reviews, trailer reviews, watch-alongs, mostly in the horror genre. That's why we named Kyle The Return of the Living Flet as the October podcast of the month. So check him out. You can find all of our other shows over at deluxeedition.show. All of our previous shows, we've had some great interviews these last couple of weeks, Ray and I. You can find us over at Instagram and Twitter at Deluxe Edition Pod. If you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/Deluxe Edition Pod or buy some merch over at whatamaneuver.net/collection/deluxe-edition. And you can also join up for our YouTube channel. We have a subscription over there. I think it's $7 a month, and you get exclusive perks. Like I'll send you the show as soon as we're finished recording. You get that unedited and exactly as we recorded it. So if you want to support us over there, check it out.
If you sign up, you can send us a specific thing you want us to do for like 20 minutes, but it's got to be within the next week. And you can send us something, and we'll do like 20, 30 minutes just for you. But you got to sign up. I can't just do this shit for nothing. But you pick the topic and we'll do it if you sign up this next week.
All right. Yeah. Ray doesn't work for free. So.
Hell no.
All right, Ray, your plugs.
I am 10 Cent Beer Night Podcast, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can get my merch over at TeePublic. We got mugs, T-shirts, hats, pillows, totes, notebooks, all kinds of cool shit. So if you want to support the show and you're a wealthy individual, go buy some crap. If not, just give us a listen, a like, a review for both podcasts. It does help out with the algorithms, so we do appreciate it.
Yeah. Actually, we just got a nice review over at Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to go over there and review us, that does really help us a lot. I'm not sure who it was, but it was a nice review. They actually said they can't wait for our next episode, Ray. So you know how to solve that?
We just do more.
They can go and sign up at patreon.com.
You know what? Yeah, whoever did that review, that was, I totally dropped. That was like an easy fucking setup too, and I totally fucking missed it. You could sign up, and that person wouldn't have to wait. They'd get a free, right off the rip, free episode just, catering to them.
Yeah.
What's better than that?
Yeah.
For $7, you can't get a hand job on the corner for $7 anymore.
Maybe in California, maybe in some of the places that I've just been, that might be a possibility, right? Speaking of, all right, let's get into the show. This is going to be a free,
let's do it.
This is going to be a free roaming show. Speaking of California, this was actually last week when I was here in California. I saw a person walking through a Home Depot. And they were clearly homeless. And like when she was walking, then I have to go and I have to talk to the manager.
So, hold on. How did you know they were homeless? Because they weren't like buying like shingles or a mailbox and stuff like that. Was that the dead giveaway?
She might have been barefoot. Her hair was like everywhere, and she was completely filthy. Like, have you seen the show Alone?
Yes.
So at the end of like the 79 days or whatever, like that's what this person looked like, like
nice.
Filthy.
Okay. All right.
And so I have to go and wait by the restrooms. Usually that's where the janitor's closet is, where I have to go up onto the roof. And when I was waiting back there for the manager, this person walked out of the bathroom and they were holding their, like, I'm not sure what it was around their waist, but they were holding it up and her whole ass was exposed.
So maybe she was in there taking a hobo bath in the sink and she just needed to air it out a little bit so it would dry because they were out of towels in the bathroom.
I think that might have been what happened. I'm not exactly sure, but...
sometimes you get stuff on your pants. You got to take them in there, put them on the air dryer,
It was a sight to see. That I would say.
It sounds like you had an exciting trip to Home Depot.
Yeah, they out here they can be pretty exciting. And,
well, here in Cleveland, we have this place called Steelyard, which has the #1 worst Walmart in the entire country.
Oh,
it's quite the trip down there when you have to visit that one.
Why don't you do a live stream from there someday?
I might during the day. I ain't doing it at night. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, my girlfriend Barbara, she's always like, "Please be careful out there." I'm like, "Look, I go to the Home Depot and then I go to my hotel room and I order food and I don't leave this area." Well, all right, I go to the weed store first and then
you don't take a jog around the neighborhood and some brightly colored sweatpants so you don't get run over?
Nope. Speaking of brightly colored things, though, moving right along.
Yes.
Do you know have you ever heard of Russell Hitchcock?
Is he related to Alfred?
I don't believe so.
What about Herbie?
That's a possibility.
Ooh, all right. Now we're on to something.
So yesterday, when I was flying here to California, I noticed the man at the airport in Dallas who was in very brightly colored shoes. And I was right behind him because I board with Group 1 because I fly so much. And I happened to notice he had an all-access pass on, like, hanging on his bag. And it was an all-access pass to an air supply show. And it had the name Russell Hitchcock on it.
So did you quietly just start singing "I'm all out of love" to get his attention?
No.
No?
I quietly Googled who Richard Russell Hitchcock was. And I found out that he is the lead singer and founder of Air Supply. And he was flying to LA.
Nice.
I'm not familiar with Air Supply, so I didn't like go out of my way to bother him for a picture or anything. So I just thought it was cool to.
Well, to be honest, Casey, I'm pretty sure that's their song. I'm about 90% sure, but I could be wrong.
Oh man, yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's as far as stories for this week go.
Nice.
That's about all I have. Well,
I know I sent you some news stories.
Yeah,
but,
let's get into it, man.
But
all right,
there's something else I've been holding on to all day that I want to talk about. All right. So I'm from Cleveland. And have you ever heard of Balloon Fest 86?
No.
So, in 1985, Disneyland released the most balloons into the sky ever. And this guy named Treb said...
Wait, I gotta stop you.
Okay. Are
we talking...
Helium balloons.
Okay. Helium balloons. All right, so when you say, because I have hot air balloons in my mind.
Mm-hmm. No, these are just regular filled up balloons.
Okay.
So this man named Treb said, "Fuck that! I'm going to find a city that can beat it because it's ridiculous. Disneyland should not own this record. I'm calling Guinness, and we're going to break this fucking thing." So eventually, he gets a hold of Cleveland and the United Way, and they're like, "Hell yeah! Let's bring this record to Cleveland." So it takes them 6 months, but they build this tower thing right in the middle of the city. It's 3 stories high, 250 feet long by 150 feet long with a net. So the plan is to fill up 1.5 million balloons that they will put into this net. And everybody's super pumped. So the day comes, they get 2,000 kids to be slave labor to pump these balloons up. They're showing the kids they got their fingers taped up because they got blisters from working these things. And they got local legends, Big Chuck and Little John, down here doing the pregame. Little John is a midget. So at one point, him and Big Chuck are on a horse. And Chuck's like, "I'm getting down." And Little John's like, "Yeah, I'm going to have to wait for one of the cops to come get me off the horse because he can't get off the goddamn horse." So in September, around this time of the year, the Cleveland weather is super unpredictable. So they're supposed to go at 2 o'clock. They got almost 1.5. They're still loading these things into the net. Foof, foof, foof. The balloons are all going up in the air. And the weatherman comes over and goes, "Oof. It's not looking good. We got a storm front moving in, got a cold front moving in." So the organizers go, "Fuck it, release them. We got to go now." So at 1:50 p.m. that Saturday, they release the balloons, and everyone's excited. And the terminal tower downtown is all covered in balloons. And then the cold front and the rain moved in. Now what happens to these balloons when the rain and the cold hits them, they don't deflate. They drop to the earth. So immediately, Cleveland is covered with 1.5 million fucking balloons. There's traffic accidents all over the place. The airports are shutting down because they can't fucking fly planes. there's a search going on in Lake Erie for 2 boaters who have fallen out of their fucking boat. They can't find them because the whole goddamn lake's covered with balloons.
Holy shit.
And the Coast Guard's like, we don't know what to fucking do. We can't find them. All we see is fucking balloons everywhere. These fucking things ended up in Canada. Fucking their shit up. So now it's an international incident. Where I live right now, 30 minutes away from Cleveland, this woman has a horse farm, okay? Balloons made it to her property, spooked one of her horses, and it broke its fucking leg. She sued the city for $3 million because it was like a rare racing breeding horse. Everybody who got in an accident sued the city and this dude. So eventually, it's verified. It's a goddamn world record. As much chaos as it caused, the Guinness Book of World Records says, you did it. So everybody's super happy in Cleveland. We don't care about tragedy. We're like, yeah, we got a record. Fuck yeah. Most balloons ever released. So in 1988, the Guinness Book of World Records released that Cleveland released. It was like 1.43 because we ran out of time. And then the next year, they said, you know what? Because of the environmental damage and all the bad things that happened, this is no longer a record. We're taking it out of the book. So we don't want this to ever happen again. So that is September 27th, 1986 in Cleveland. The most balloons ever released into the air, and they fell to fucking earth almost immediately. Unfucking believable.
That's crazy.
And people wonder why I love being from Cleveland, because you can't tell that story anywhere else in the country.
How old were you? Are you originally from Cleveland? You always lived in Cleveland?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't like to travel.
Remember this as a kid?
Oh, yeah. I'm a big Chuck and Little John fan. So, like, you can go on YouTube and you can watch the video of them talking and stuff. Oh, here's another interesting thing. When I was a kid, they used to do live audiences for their shows. So when I was a Cub Scout, I got to go and actually sit on their show, and I was on TV in my little fucking outfit and shit, and like the whole group was down there. It's fucking awesome. But anyways, yeah, in '86 I was 14, so I remember this.
I want to know more about Big Chuck and Little John. Tell me about these guys. What do they do?
So if you remember, years and years ago, TV stations couldn't figure out what to do late at night. So, like, here in Cleveland, we originally had Ghoulardi in, like, the 50s and 60s. Like, they just said, well, stations shut down at midnight. And then the Universal Monsters company said, well, we'll give you a bunch of monster movies. You can do what the fuck you want with them. So local hosts all over the country started doing their own shows. So Ghoulardi got a show. And Big Chuck was one of his, like, interns, his, like, camera guy. So eventually, Ghoulardi went to Hollywood and became the guy who did the voice for The Love Boat and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
Because Tim Conway was his friend and was like, get the fuck out of Cleveland, come to L.A., man. You got a great voice, be an actor. Well, he's stupid, couldn't remember lines, but they said, you can just do this. So he made a lot of money, but...
Just read this.
Yeah, and his son is the guy who did Boogie Nights, too. But Big Chuck, eventually, he's like on the Channel 8. And they're like, hey, do you want your own show? You know, you can do the stupid monster movie shit too. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. So it became Big Chuck and Houlihan. And Houlihan was the weatherman. Chuck was like a news guy, sports guy. So these two guys, after that, would do their own show. And eventually they would just tape during the day so they could release it at night so that Cub Scouts and other people could show up during the tapings. And when I was a kid, it was a big deal to try and stay up and watch this. You know, it started like 9 or 10 o'clock or something like that. You know, we're like 8 or 9 years old. That's pretty late. So anyways, Big Chuck, eventually, Houlihan, he quits, and Little John comes on board. So what they do between the movies is they did skits. And because Big Chuck was Polish, they did a lot of jokes about Polish people and how stupid they are. And then they would do jokes about how Little John was a midget. And you couldn't do it today. You could not do a show because all the skits were just like making fun of things and so funny. As a kid, most of it I didn't even really get. But I'd laugh because they were funny. Like they had one where he played like a Lone Ranger character, and he gets bit on the dick by a snake. And so Tonto, the Tonto, the Kilbasi Kid was his name. So the Tonto character goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you got to suck the venom out. Tonto rides back, and the Kilbasi Kid says, what did the doctor say? And he goes, oh, you're going to die. So that's what Big Chuck and Little John is. It's a skit show where they would play horror movies late at night. But nice. In Cleveland, they are beloved. They still do. Ghoulardi was on the air for 3 years. We still, to this day, have a Ghoulardi festival that Big Chuck and Little John are the host of. Like,
nice. So they're still around?
Oh, yeah. They're still around. We gotta
get them on the fucking show, man.
Oh, yeah. Big Chuck would be awesome. Little John would be awesome. I bet they got stories, man.
Hell yeah.
Like just great stories. We got to get them.
It reminds me of Sven Gulli. He's like the exact same type of character, right? Yeah, there's one everywhere. There's Son of Ghoul. You know, we got all these fucking characters here because Cleveland is just like, if you ain't got a shtick, you ain't nobody. Like, I should be sitting here in a fucking wig with an eye patch and a fake fucking mustache or something because in Cleveland, the shtick is the fucking everything, the gimmick. That's all you got to have here, and you can fucking be somebody. Speaking of gimmicks, all right, one more thing before we get into the news. What is the Cleveland Browns gimmick? What is the thing that guy in the middle of the field?
Oh, Brownie the Elf? Yeah. So, back in the 50s and 60s, he was like the unofficial mascot, or I don't know. We don't have a logo, so he was like our logo, basically. And they won a bunch of championships with him, but they had him on the helmet for one preseason game and took him off. So here in Cleveland, the Elf is beloved. Like, he's on everything. There are tattoos, T-shirts. Like, people have been screaming for years, put this fucking thing on the helmet. I'm one of them. I'm like, fuck this dumb orange helmet. I'm tired of our logo being a fucking orange helmet. Put the goddamn brownie on there. Fuck. So the debate rages on, man.
Was there ever an explanation as to why they just have a brown helmet? Like, why they're... I mean, I know they're the Browns, but...
Because it's fucking cheap, and our helmet's orange. What the fuck sense does that make? Our helmet's orange. The team's called the Browns. We have the goddamn dog pound, which makes no fucking sense, and we have Brownie the Elf. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, the Browns are doing pretty good this year, though, aren't they?
So far, I wouldn't say they're burning down the world, but it's better than the 1-31 2 seasons I had to sit through and pretend like well, how do you defend that?
Right.
They won one game in 2 seasons, Casey. Do you know how much fun it is to tailgate for a team that goes 1-31?
I imagine with you, it would probably still be pretty fun.
Well, we're used to it here,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Still go down to the Muni lot and get all fucked up. That's our tailgate. We go down to the Muni lot. So the stadium holds 70,000 people, and the Muni lot holds about 150,000. And it's packed. It's been packed for decades. I've seen some crazy shit down there. Holy crap. It's a parking lot. So they have no alcohol rules. So we all have to put in, the red Solo cup. You got to put it in a cup, or the cops are like, hey, put it in a cup.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Hey, put it in a cup. You can't walk around with a beer bottle. So you got to find a cup real quick. God damn it.
Right.
So Cleveland Brown fans are some of them, like right there with Philly fans. We're shitty. If you're an opposing team and you accidentally end up in the Muni lot because you parked there, and you shouldn't because it's like $30 fucking to park there. But anyways, I've seen people walking through in other teams' jerseys, even if it's the Bengals who are from Ohio, and we all just go, asshole, asshole, until someone picks them up and throws them on their fucking head. Well, that's Cleveland. It's insane. And then the cop will tell the guy when he gets up, stumbling away, concussed, hey, put that beer in a cup.
Yeah, you shouldn't have parked in here.
It's crazy. If you stand by the exit coming out to go to the game, there's 2 cops that stand there, and people are stumbling through. It starts at 6 a.m., and the game starts at 1. So everybody's fucking trash by the time the game starts. So as they're coming through the parking lot, the cops are standing there like, hey, you got to finish that before you leave the parking lot. So everybody's just chugging things and throwing it on the ground. It's just a mess. It's a fucking mess. We used to have this really cool guy who had a couch that was motorized, and he would take all the drunks from the parking lot to the stadium. It's a bit of a walk. And they gave him a DUI.
What? For
driving on the road with his couch on fucking game day. So now he just drives around the Muni lot with his fucking orange plate he got for the back of it. Because in Ohio, you get an orange plate for a DUI when they let you, if you get driving privileges. So, it's like maroony orangey. So he put one of those on the back of the couch, and he just stays inside the parking lot and drives people around now. So much fun down there.
I think I told this story before on the podcast. Maybe it was, I'm not sure if it was on the podcast or if it was just to you, but I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one time, and it just happened to be on a Cleveland Browns Sunday. I didn't know that, not being, I'm not much of a football fan, so I didn't look at the Cleveland Browns schedule before getting to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the traffic was just fucking crazy. And I pulled up, and I said to this cop, where can I park for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And she's like, on a Sunday, on Brown Sunday? You're fucking crazy. She basically told me, like, you're not fucking parking anywhere around here for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Good times. All right. You want to do actual news here? Because we have some actual news, Casey. And we're already a half hour in, so let's do some goddamn news. Here we go.
All right.
I know you know these 2 names. Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase.
Yep.
They've been in 3 movies together. Can you remember them?
Spies Like Us.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing But Trouble. And Caddyshack 2.
There you go. Yes. The dynamic duo. Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge Chevy Chase fan, right? Before like all my previous moves, I had just about every Chevy Chase movie on either VHS or DVD, but they've all been left behind somewhere, and not exactly sure where they all are.
What are you, on the fucking lam? Like, you don't even have time to pack shit? You're just like, fuck it, we got to go now. Get in the goddamn car. No, leave it. We love the dog, but fucking leave it. We got to go.
Chevy's not worth it.
I'll buy it again. Let's go. But anyways, the dynamic duo is getting back together for the new R.L. Stine movie, Zombie Town.
Yeah. Was this, were you a fan of, you might have been a little too old for the Goosebumps series, were you?
I am too old for a lot of things. But I am familiar with R.L. Stine. They're good stories. I've seen the books. I get drunk and my IQ goes way down, and I can read these things to be entertained.
You've seen the books?
Yes.
I used to read all of these books. When I was a child, these books were very popular. I'm a bit younger than you. I think I've read every. Is this a Goosebumps story?
Yes, this is called Zombie Town.
Then I've probably read this book.
So the story goes, there's this kid who's a projectionist at the local movie theater, and the chick he likes is into horror movies. So to impress her, he shows her a new movie, which turns everyone in the town into zombies except for them. So I don't know the roles that, Dan and Chevy are playing, but man, I hope they're like zombie roles, because that would be hilarious.
Yeah. I'm hoping they maybe get a little more than a Bill Murray cameo in, what was that, where he played the zombie?
Zombieland.
Zombieland. I mean, it was.
Yeah, but he wasn't a zombie.
Yeah,
he was pretending to be a. That was a great role. That was so funny. Man, was that funny.
Like they're playing it out like, or they're acting like they're going to be like starring in this movie. So I'm hoping that they have a bigger role than.
I don't think they're going to star, but I don't give a shit. I don't care if they just walk across the screen and wave at me. I just want to see them in movies because I love both of them.
Yeah, I do too, man. I do too. Hopefully Chevy is getting easier to work with. I've heard that he's very difficult.
I hope not. I hope not. Because as far as I can tell, Aykroyd doesn't mind him.
Right. Yeah. No.
Aykroyd said he loves working with him.
Yeah.
So apparently,
you know what I've heard about Dan Aykroyd? That he's a bit of a dick to work with as well.
Apparently, that makes them a good duo.
Yeah.
They can share stories about all the people they pissed off. Hey, what's better than that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Either way, it's gonna be it's probably gonna be good because I've also read that two of the guys from Kids in the Hall are also.
Oh yeah, yeah,
right. Bruce McCullough and
Bruce and
can't remember the other one's name.
That guy's name, but Bruce is awesome.
Yeah. Kids in the Hall was a great show.
That's a funny as fuck show, man.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it, but they did recently come out with a new season of that as well.
Yeah, some of my buddies were offended by the male nudity, but I was like, what, you never seen a grown man naked before? Some of these guys are so homophobic, they won't even look at themselves in the mirror before they get in the shower. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
When they eat a hot dog, when they eat a hot dog, they have to turn it sideways and start in the middle. It's ridiculous.
One of the best shows on television. It's an HBO series with Danny McBride. They're all like televangelists, like big church people.
That's the one I haven't started yet.
Yeah,
I love Danny McBride.
The best show on television. I can't remember the name. The Righteous Gemstones.
I've heard that's amazing.
It's a great show.
I just haven't started it yet.
A lot of full frontal male nudity, though.
Is it Danny?
No, not. I haven't seen Dan. I don't think I've seen Danny's dick yet. But
if he does do full frontal nudity, I'm gonna send him a message to be like, it took a long time to get to it, and I'm disappointed.
All right,
let's move on.
All right.
So, as you may be aware or not, James Gunn was involved in the writing of Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2, the movies.
I was not aware of this before you sent me the article.
Yeah. Well, I knew, but I forgot. But so when I saw the article, I was like, oh, fuck, I forgot he did that. Because I like those movies. And he's like, yeah, originally my R-rated version was better. And I'm like, holy fuck, we were going to get an R-rated version of Scooby-Doo, and they kept watering it down. And he's like, because they were talking about it the other day, and he released some tweety thing or something about how pissed off he was that they changed his story so much. Because originally, Thelma? He flat out made her a lesbian.
Velma.
He's like, she's a lesbian now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can see that. All right. Where are we going with this?
Right.
All right, we got to get one of them scenes? Is that what we're talking about here, Mr. Gunn? But I don't know exactly, because he said most of it's probably gone, but you won't never get to see it because most of the shots are gone.
Yeah.
But could you imagine that? An actual, not a porno, but a rated R version of Scooby-Doo? Because I know there's porns out there with that, but they're
cosplaying.
Those are what they are. But a rated R version would be really cool, where they're like, instead of jinkies, they're like, holy fuck.
Right.
Like, Fred's like, let's get the fuck out of here, gang.
Yeah. And Shaggy's actually getting stoned. Like you can actually see him
Right.
getting
Like
stoned.
he's
We
literally
all
just
know.
yeah, him and the dog are getting. Well, no, it'd be cool because he's getting stoned, and he's the only one that the dog can talk to.
Yeah.
Like he's the only one who actually hears Scooby, but he thinks everyone else can. So everyone else is like, "This guy is so fried." That would have been awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know. I've never seen either one of these movies.
Oh, they're fun. They're fun movies.
But after doing the research that I did when you sent me the article, and I found out that Linda, what is her name? Linda
Cardellini.
Found out that she was playing Velma. I'm gonna have to go and check these movies out.
Oh yeah. Let's just say she's got some assets that this movie needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a thing for Velma.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
I like that character.
All right. Let's move on. All right. So Tim Allen has been convinced to come back to the Santa Claus movies. It's been a while. It's been like 10 years.
Yeah.
So they get him back, and he wasn't really into it at first. And he said when he walked on set dressed as Santa Claus, like just the way everyone reacted to him dressed as Santa Claus, like the smiles and everybody went dead quiet when he first walked on set. He was like, it just felt special. And then it comes to turn out his actual real life daughter, who's 13 now, auditioned for a role as like an elf, just a small role. And they end up, the producers and whoever say, dude, she's really good. Can we audition her for other roles? So she ends up playing his daughter in the movie. So, like, there's scenes where he's with her, and because it's his real-life daughter, and they're talking about things, he's like, I almost get choked up because I'm talking about things with my real-life daughter about, like, hard things. And it's like, wow. Imagine that, Casey. You're a big-time actor, and your daughter, you just wanted her to play a fucking elf in the background, and now she's, like, starring in the goddamn movie. That's a fucking big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like,
that's gotta be cool.
Because like Johnny Depp and Kevin Smith are shoving their daughters down our throat. Not that they're not doing a good job. Like Yoga Hosers is great. It's a great fucking movie. But to have it organically happen like that is way cooler, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Kevin Smith, he's making the movies and being able to, she's getting her own roles as well, but the first movies that she was in, Kevin put him in her movies,
right?
Him in her in his movies.
Correct.
You know what I was trying to say.
Yes.
But this is actually a TV show, a Disney TV.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is actually they're gonna do this is actually a Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
So I guess they're gonna do like most of these things do. They're gonna drop the first 2 episodes at once, and that's how they gauge how the public reacts. But I love these first 3 movies. This is, there's not a lot of movies that you can watch with your kids that you enjoy. Like, you don't have this problem. Like I'm always trying to find something you can watch with your kids. Like, all right, I can do Raiders, and I can do Star Wars. I can do Goonies for the most part, and then you're just done. Like, there's nothing else. It's like, fuck. There's it's like, no, every horror movie's out. Just throw them out the window. Every 80s comedy, other than the ones I just, mentioned, like Caddyshack's out.
Yeah.
Then Fast Time's out. It's just like, boom, 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 they're all out. These are movies I can watch with my kids, and they've got enough adult humor that they're funny.
Sure.
But that could be because Tim Allen used to sell Coke.
Absolutely. He sure did.
So maybe that helped him balance what's funny between adults and kids. I don't know. Just throwing it out there, Casey.
And the first one of these movies came out 1994.
And you were like 6, huh?
I was 14, yeah. So I remember this coming out and being like, it was a big deal because he was on
Tool Time.
Yeah, that wasn't called Home Improvement. It was called
What I call it Tool Time.
Yeah, I always call it Tool Time too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember this coming out. It was a big deal, and to see it coming out, however many years later this is, that's fucking huge.
Oh yeah, I can't believe they got him to come back. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, fucking money, man.
Well, I've always said this for a long time. Hey Tim, you want to do another Santa Claus movie? No, I'd rather do a Home Improvement reunion. And then they take this giant mound of fucking money and they push it across the table. And they go, "Are you sure that you don't want to play Santa Claus again?" And he looks at the pile of money and he goes, "Ho, ho, ho, Merry Christmas."
It's pretty surprising too that there's some things I want to say about his daughter working with him, but it's also pretty surprising that he's being hired by Disney. Isn't he a pretty outspoken Republican?
I don't do politics, so I don't give a rat's ass what he likes.
I don't either, but you would think that Disney would care.
I'll tell you right now, if I gave a shit about politics and I had to pay attention to all the actors and stuff, it would be exhausting. Because there'd be so many, I'd be like, what a piece of shit. Yeah. And I don't have time for that. I don't have time to hate people that I like watching on movies.
Right.
Let them, they can do whatever they want. They can say whatever they want. I don't care.
I save that for Tom Cruise.
Right. Tom Cruise, every time I see an article about Tom Cruise, I try to ignore it. Because I'm just like, nope, love his movies. Love Bosom Buddies. Love Mazes and Monsters, that shitty movie he made for TV back in the 80s. Joe vs. the Volcano. Guy's a legend. I don't need to hear about how he was on Epstein Island and loves, transgender people with, 6 cocks. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Just entertain me. You can do whatever you want.
I will stand by my statement. I do not like Tom Cruise. All right. Back in so working with Tim Allen, working with his daughter, this is I'm sure been done before. We talked about Kevin Smith and his daughter and Johnny Depp working with his daughter, but can you name any other ones that you know of?
There's a lot of kids in Hollywood. Charlie Sheen's worked with his dad on Wall Street, I believe it was. I think.
I can tell you one that I found out later that it was his daughter, and it's one of the creepiest things that you'll ever see when you find out that it's his daughter.
Is it Dennis Hopper on Blue Velvet?
No. Danny DeVito in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's an episode where he's in a restaurant, and I could be butchering this. It's been a long time since I have seen it, but he was really, really hitting on this waitress, like a lot. And you find out, I found out later that it was his daughter in real life.
Dude, Danny DeVito is amazing. There's the story about where the girl took his cardboard cutout to prom or homecoming.
Yes.
And then he got a cardboard cutout of her and was carrying her around and shit, making a video. He's so awesome. He should be on our list.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's an elephant. That's the blue moon right there. Danny DeVito. Because that guy's fucking funny as shit.
Yeah,
Always Sunny, the best decision that show ever made was adding him.
Hell yeah, man.
And I'll tell you, the moment that I knew he was perfect for that show and saved that show from being canceled was when he climbed out of that fucking couch naked. That was when I was like, this guy just saved their show's ass. And now they've been on for 67 years, longest running show in the history of all television. I think it started in black and white. That's how long this show's been on the air now.
There's an episode where it's the funniest scene that you'll see. Google it when you're finished with this show. It's the Always Sunny in Philadelphia episode. It's the gang quarantines, and it's long. This was long before the pandemic. you know, they were
Yeah.
just, there was a bad flu going around Philly, and they just made an episode about them quarantining. And Danny DeVito is like really fucking like strict about things, and he doesn't want anybody leaving the bar. And he starts like really like going to town with hand sanitizer. And he shaves his entire body, and he's just like covered in hand sanitizer. And like they're all quarantined in the bar, and they all realize that like they're getting like deathly sick, and they all think that they have this flu. But here it's just because they haven't had anything to drink for like 8 hours, so they're all like going into withdrawal, right?
Yeah.
So they all fucking start drinking again, and then they come out and they just see a trail of hand sanitizer like on the floor, and then they follow it in, and Danny DeVito is just crawling on the floor in his underwear, and he just goes, "I just want to be pure."
Oh man,
it's the fucking best fucking.
That's so
scene
good.
ever.
I'll put that show in the top 5 sitcoms of all time. I love that show.
Hell yeah.
And I'm not even all the way caught up. I think I'm like 10 fucking seasons behind at this point because there's so many of them. And, you know, we get distracted doing podcast research. I can't keep up.
I know, man. There's so much. But that's a good thing about having the podcast research is we get to see so much cool stuff doing this, too.
Well, that's, you know, like I've always said, and don't tell anybody, but my favorite part about being on a podcast is getting the free fucking screeners.
Yeah. I got
That's my
another few
favorite
to send
part.
you, too. I have another few to send you, too.
Nice. That's my favorite thing because I get to brag to my friends.
Yeah, it's a cool perk.
Like, there's a couple of things I brag about. I'm like, hey, I saw that movie. You can't see it yet, but I saw it. And Bo Svensson, yeah, I get to read his screenplays. You don't.
Yeah. That's my favorite part is being friends with Bo Svensson, Mark Singer, and Gregory Scott Cummins.
The best part is I like to act like I know what the fuck's going on. I'd never seen a screenplay before. I didn't know what the fuck it looked like. I'm like, oh, this is what they look like? This is fucking cool as shit. Fuck.
This is how you do it.
This is holy shit. If I'd have known that, I would have wrote a bunch of these and thrown them in the trash years ago.
Oh, shit.
All right.
You got any more news?
Fuck yeah, I do. So they got this new show about Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer, monster. And now here's what I want to ask you. Okay, one of the victim's sisters was on the stand and gave this great fucking dialogue at court and shit. The show has an actress who looks just like her. She's dressed just like her from court and gives the exact same speech. They never asked her if it was okay. She's upset. She's not happy about it. That they never contacted her because she would have said, you know, this is disturbing to me. I don't like it. Like, how do you feel about Netflix just using her likeness, her words, and everything, and never even contacting her?
Yeah, it's fucked up. I mean, they definitely should have contacted her about it. Here's the thing, though. It was on television. It's public, right? I mean, no one really probably owns the rights to that news clip that they copied. Like, it's only a short segment. I watched the video today.
Yeah, but most of the time, what happens is they contact the person and they're like, you know what? I don't want my name in this shit.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So what they do is, if your name's Tim Smith, they just change it to Tom Smith.
Right.
Change the likeness, put different clothes, and they say at the end, some of these people were not happy with us because we're assholes, and they move on. They make a movie.
Right.
So I'm torn on this one because they accurately portrayed it, but she wasn't happy because she wasn't talked to first.
Right.
So maybe if they'd have called her and said, hey, we want to do this, and we want to be accurate because we liked what you did, you know, passionate, throw her some fucking money, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You're making money. Give her a fucking couple grand or something. Be like, you're a star now.
Right. Well, that was her. Yeah, I read that article that you sent. That was her whole thing. Like, she doesn't want any money, but she thinks that it is a money grab. Definitely. I mean, Netflix, they don't put stuff out to not make money on it. But she wants money for like the victims, the other victims, not so much her, but the other victims. Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, Hulu just did the same thing. They made a whole series, and I mean, it's not anything like Jeffrey Dahmer. It's not, but they just made a series called Mike, and it's all about Mike Tyson, and they didn't consult with him at all about it. Like, they just made this fucking story.
Did you see the guy they used for Tyson?
Yeah, yes.
It looks like Great Value Mike Tyson from Walmart.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy like regular Coke, or you can buy like the knockoff brand. Like, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I wanted to watch that. Like, I saw that scrolling through, and I was like,
I was excited to see it. And then I saw this dude, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Looks like Dave Chappelle.
I could have gotten around that, but then I found out, I saw an interview with Mike Tyson, and they were like, don't you think Hulu should have consulted you about making a series about you? And he was like, yeah, probably. Like, they didn't even ask him.
See, that's a problem. Like, I would be like super pissed if I was like scrolling through Netflix and there's some new show called Ray the Podcaster. Right. And it's some dude pretending to be me doing a fucking podcast show, and it's just a blatant ripoff. I'd be on the phone. I'd be like, hey, guys, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, oh, we didn't think you'd mind. What do you mean? What do you mean I wouldn't mind? It's me. So I can see where these people are pissed.
Yeah,
if I was Tyson, I'd say, here's your choices. Give me a bunch of money, or shut it down, or I'll come throw uppercuts at everybody in your fucking office until there ain't nobody left standing except me and my tiger. And I don't know about you. If Mike Tyson called me and said, hey, if you don't stop what you're doing, I'm going to come down there and throw uppercuts at you, I'd be like, I'm sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
I never meant to upset you, my friend.
Right. Delete that off of Hulu immediately.
Yes. I'd be like deleting it. I'd be like, no. Yeah. I'd be calling the creators like, you fucking assholes, man. I don't know if I can sleep anymore. I got to get armed fucking guards. I got to get fucking Rambo to guard my house now because you motherfuckers. Fuck, I think I might have to get the Predator. Because that's the only thing I can think of that can protect me from Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucked up. The lady's name was Rita Isbell. I watched the clip today. It's an exact replica of what she did, basically. Yep. I mean, it's
close. It's real close.
Yeah, it's really close. I haven't seen the show. I am interested in watching it. But yeah, I'd be pissed too, It's fucked up.
And that
especially with the horror that this dude fucking caused to like families everywhere.
It brings up the question it's similar to this used to come up a lot, like when Columbine happened. How long before you can joke about something? Like, at that time, Columbine happened. Well, the Titanic was horrible too, but we tell jokes about that all the fucking time. So how long does something have to go past until it's okay? Does everyone have to be dead that was involved? Like, that's the weird thing is like the Manson family, Gacy, serial killers are super popular TV. Yeah. But like I said, a lot of the time they change a lot of the names to protect the innocent. That disclaimer they'd use on cop shows.
Super popular TV shows, movies, and now podcasts.
Oh, podcasts is like one of the biggest, I don't want to call them villains, because I don't think that's what these people set out to do.
Yeah.
Like, I've done podcasts about true crime. Like, I did an episode on my previous podcast where I talked about famous actresses who were murdered in the 80s. And I didn't take any of their names out, but a lot of their relatives are still alive. One of them's a famous fucking actor. I'm just like talking about it, and I'm like, well, I guess I can write him off. I'll never get him on this fucking podcast interview now. God damn it. But I was respectful, though.
Sure.
Like, I only laughed once at an inappropriate thing. I swear to God, it was only once in the whole hour that I did it. And it was only because I knew what I was about to say was horrific and horrible, and I shouldn't be saying it. But I snickered right before I said it, and it made my co-host snicker too. And we cut a little bit of flack for that, but I was like,
some people react to different things in different ways.
Well, the reaction is he knew what I was going to say, and we're on camera like this, and I looked at him, and I snickered because I knew what I was about to say, and he was going to be uncomfortable, and he laughed because he knew he was going to be uncomfortable, and that's what it was. It wasn't that we were laughing at what happened. It was we were laughing because we knew the inside joke.
Sure.
But one person who contacted us was like, hey, why are you guys laughing at that? That shit wasn't funny. Like, a shotgun to the face is not funny. And I'm like, well, if it's, Elmer Fudd or Bugs Bunny, it is. But right. I didn't answer it that way, but I should have.
Yeah, speaking of, I have a real, before you get into your other news story, I have a real quick news story of my own. Speaking of...
entertain me, my friend.
Podcasts and true crime things. I don't know if you've heard about this, but there was a very famous podcast a few years ago called Serial, and it was about a specific case in Baltimore, Maryland, about Adnan Syed, and he was arrested for killing his girlfriend, Haley Min. They were just out of high school. I'm not even sure if she had graduated high school yet.
Mm-hmm.
He was just released from prison last week on 23 years he's been in prison.
That was the DNA evidence, wasn't it? That got him out?
Well, so, I mean, of course, I think Maryland withheld information, something like that, and he was released on his own recognizance, based on they're going to have a new trial for him, I guess, with this new evidence and shit. Like, so they're still going to be, like, after 23 years of, like, wrongfully imprisoning this guy, they're going to put him through all this shit again and have a trial again. But, I mean, listening to the podcast and all that shit, I really, really don't think that he had anything to do with it at all.
From what I know of this, it sounds like he was set up to take the fall. I mean, it really does. Like, what they really should be doing is looking at those other couple of guys that were involved with this.
Right.
And, maybe do some DNA shit on them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a fucking lawyer or a police officer or, any kind of thing like that. But I think I might not want to put this guy right on trial first. I might want to go get some other people.
Yeah.
And maybe go, hey, let's look at some of these motherfuckers who we think lied.
Right. Yeah. It's been a long time since I've listened to the podcast. It might have actually been one of the first podcasts that I started listening to. But I do remember, like, a guy specifically driving down that road and, like, taking the cops like he was the one that found her body or whatever. He was like, hey, look what I found. I walked, 50 yards into the woods to take a pee, and I found her body over here. That's
how you know somebody's not real, on the up and up. When they're like, hey, I've been drinking all day. I'm going to go pee in the woods. And they walk right over to where the body is.
Yeah. Like something was sketchy there. Definitely go back. If you don't have time to listen to an entire series of podcasts, there is an HBO special about it as well that was done very well with a lot of the people that made the podcast. So check it out. It was I forget what the series on HBO was called, but Adnan Syed, I think his name is.
It's a goddamn shame how many people end up in prison for murders that they didn't commit, and now DNA evidence, like 20, 30 fucking years later, gets them out of prison. Like, it's crazy. Like, the cops were just like, well, he was, like, he lived down the street, and he looked shady.
Right.
So,
he's an Indian kid, so...
So, like, maybe the day they interviewed him, he was like, fuck, I was smoking weed in my fucking basement all day, but I don't want to tell him that. And they're like, what were you doing? And he's like, I was at church. And they're like,
Yeah.
give us your pastor's name. He's like, God damn it, Bud. Pastor Bud. And they're like, ain't no Pastor Bud at your church. And he's like, fuck, I'm screwed. And they're like, all right, off to jail with you.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. Or they're
Yeah,
like,
it's
what were
fucked
you
up.
doing? I was sleeping. Prove it.
Yeah.
What do you mean prove it? How the fuck do I prove I was asleep?
Right.
Well, you didn't make no phone calls between midnight and 4 a.m. Yeah, no, fuck, I was sleeping. Or were you committing murder? No, I was fucking asleep. Who else was home? Just me.
Yeah.
Why don't you have a wife? Because I don't like women and they're mean. You're a murderer. Off to jail.
Dude, so two quick things. Not quick. They're gonna. I always say they're gonna be. It's not gonna be quick.
We don't
I'm not
care.
a good fucking
You don't,
storyteller.
dude, you don't have to be quick.
All right. So on the same line as this, like someone being wrongfully accused, I remember seeing a documentary on. It was a guy who was picked up for jail. He went into work. Cops come surround his car like right before he goes into work, and they take him into jail. And he's like, what's going on? They're like, you committed this murder. He's like, no, I didn't. I was at a baseball game. And they're like, well, prove it. Of course, like he didn't have like the ticket stubs or whatever. It was like at a Yankees game or some shit. You know, it was like really hard to prove. The way that they ended up, I wish I could remember the name of this, but the way that they ended up proving that he was actually at the baseball game was he was in a fucking clip for Curb Your Enthusiasm because they were filming at Yankee Stadium that day, and he was walking down, like they show him walking down
like the stairs.
aisle.
Yeah.
The stairs with like 2 beers in his hand, going to sit with his daughter, like that. The shit is crazy. Like,
yeah, there are so many times that I've been blackout drunk that I woke up in the morning that they could have told me I murdered somebody. I couldn't argue with them. I could say, you know what? I got all fucked up last night with my buddies. I went in the basement, fell asleep on the couch, and that's where I woke up this morning. Maybe I got up in the middle of the night, shit-ass drunk, and killed somebody 18 miles away. I highly doubt I could have drove there. Maybe I ran there, and then I ran back home and went back to sleep in the same clothes that I murdered them in.
right.
But there's no blood on me, so maybe I changed. Maybe I got home and changed my clothes, and then I went out again, buried them in some fucking other state, and I drove back home. There's many nights, though. I can't account for my whereabouts. Thank God I've never been accused of murder.
One more thing before you get into your news. We were talking about with Jane Badler. Remember how she said she got the role for V? Dominic Dunn was murdered, and she was coming.
That's the story I was telling that I said I'll never get Griffin done.
Griffin Dunn.
Yeah, that's her brother.
Yeah. So here's my thing. Fuck that dude. He killed her, right? And he only spent 2.5 years in prison.
Yeah, I told the story, and I told about the ending where that dude was a cook, and he went back to work right out of prison. So Griffin and her father would go to the restaurant that he worked at and hold up signs that your meal is being cooked by a murderer. So eventually the restaurants would fire him, and he'd go to another one, and they'd chase him there. And then he left the state and changed his name and tried to disappear off the map. And then eventually their dad said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't live my life to fuck with this guy no more. I got to go just live my life.
Yeah.
But, that's the actor that I'm like, I told the story, and I'm like, I really didn't do a bad job. I don't think. So I'd like to interview him a lot because, he's an American Werewolf in London. Love him in that movie. And I don't think I did any, I don't think I did it in a piss poor way that made it sound like it was funny or anything. Like, the dude was a douchebag who murdered her outside of her home. So, I'd love to talk to him. I sure as fuck wouldn't bring that up.
Right. You wouldn't bring up the murder of Dominic Dunn?
Fuck no, not to him.
Dude, that's fucking... We would have to.
I don't think so.
Do you know how Jane Badler
got...
So. Do you know how Jane Hey, what's his name? What's his name?
Which one? Griffin?
Yeah, Griffin. Hey, Griffin, do you know how Jane Badler got the role of V?
You know what? I shouldn't say this, but when we were talking to her, Jane, it dawned on me that that's part of the story, and I contemplated bringing it up, and I was like, nope, not going to do it. Fuck no. No, not going to bring up the murder. But it was a conscious moment in that interview where I was like, this interview's going super good. Oh, yeah, she was no. We're not
Jane
bringing
actually
it up.
mentioned it.
Oh, but I was thinking about it before that, and I was like, fuck no. No, not bringing that up. Fuck no.
Yeah, when I was because I add stuff to these videos, and when I was searching for Dominic Dunn's photo of her to add to the video, I saw that and I was like, holy shit, this Adnan is sitting in jail for like 23 years for something that he didn't do.
Yeah, and this fuck sticks dude, out in a couple of years, cooking hamburgers for people at a restaurant like nothing fucking happened.
Yeah, like how does that happen? Like how are you rehabilitated in that short amount of time?
This is why I love dudes like the Alaskan Hammer dude that was hunting pedophiles, because he was assaulted as a kid, and when he got older, he started hunting down pedophiles and beating them to death with a fucking hammer in Alaska. So he's like a folklore hero. He's in prison now. They caught him for beating pedophiles to death, and I'm like, how is that a fucking crime?
Right.
Like, this guy's an American hero.
Yeah, he's killing. Was he killing them?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's he's one of those dudes you're like, you know what? Fuck yeah. And once again, because we're on a podcast, I do not condone anyone to go out and beat anyone to death with a hammer. That's not what I'm saying. Because I'm not going to be held liable for that shit.
What if you did?
But if you were so inclined, if you were going to beat someone to death, I think a pedophile would deserve a hammer to the back of the fucking head. So
yeah, it's acceptable.
Theoretically, that's acceptable.
Theoretically.
Hypothetically. Yes, hypothetically speaking.
Oh shit.
Oh,
Ray,
man.
Is there any more news?
I got one more news story, and then we can get the hell out of here, Casey.
No, we got to talk about some other things before we get out of here.
All right, fuck it. I forgot. We're no longer under the requirements of staying to a time limit. Sorry.
According to my end, we've only been recording for 14 minutes and 43 seconds.
What's wrong with your counter?
I don't know. I hope it must be just my internet connection.
Well, according to my end, we're live for an hour and 8 minutes. So
perfect.
We're right on target.
Yeah.
We're right under 3 hours.
We love the 90-minute movie so much. We could be the 90-minute podcast.
I think we should shoot for an hour and a half. Right. I think that should be our target because we both think that's the ideal movie time.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as it gets when it gets to 190, I'm either getting sleepy or angry.
Yeah. Speaking of which, your latest podcast, of the 10 Cent Beer Night podcast, horror movies that need more love.
Yeah.
And that was a great episode, man. I just checked it out today.
And there ain't a movie over an hour and a half long on my list of all 13 movies. They're all right in that range.
Yep. Awesome list, man. I'm going to check a lot of those out.
Yeah, you've probably seen at least one of them.
I've seen, Derailed.
Derailed. Which, and I did not put that in there because we just talked to Dale. I do honestly love that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a really good one. Spoiler alert, one of the movies on Ray's list is Derailed.
Oh, I'll tell you all the movies if you want to know. I don't give a shit.
No, go listen to Ray's show.
All right, yeah. Yeah, when you get done with this, go listen to it. You know, I can use, a couple more views. Won't kill me.
No.
You know what's funny too?
Spotify exclusive.
I never check my views.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those dudes who like obsesses over that shit. I never look at it. And I don't even have access to this one. I don't even know what the fuck's going on with this one.
Yeah.
I just show up. Good, yeah, I just show up and hang out with Casey and he's like, "Yeah, we did good." Yeah. I get the comments. I get to see like, "Hey, this guy likes our show." I'm like, "Oh, fucking cool."
Yeah. You know what I'm really impressed about by your show, Ray, and I'm jealous about a little bit is you're a really good. You can do it by yourself. It's a really good show, whether you're with someone or without someone. I'll
tell you, man,
you're a good host.
That's a goddamn struggle to do it by yourself. And that's not something, I'll tell you right now, if you're starting a podcast and you're going to do it by yourself, don't. It's hard.
It's so hard.
Get a goddamn co-host. Because the hardest thing about doing it by yourself is pretending that the camera's a person. You have to pretend it's like your buddy.
Yeah.
So, like, sometimes I have to take a picture of Casey and, like, tape it next to the camera so I can just talk to Casey. No, I find, like I was on another podcast. So, a lot of the times for the Patreon, I would do shit by myself because Patreon requires content.
Yep.
So, I would do a lot of shit by myself. And when I first started doing it by myself, I was like, man, this is fucking hard. Like, there's no one to bounce off of. So eventually, it took a while, man, but it's not easy. I'm still not completely comfortable with it because I do like another person to bounce shit off of because it makes a big difference. Because I almost wish I had like a split personality so I could talk to my fucking self. Like, that'd make it even easier. Like, what do you think, Ray? I think you're a dick, Ray. Like, that'd make it so much easier. Like, your opinion sucks, asshole. But, I appreciate that. Dude, it's hard, man. It is hard. But, I think I'm doing a better job with it now. I'm more comfortable with it. Because, like I said, you just pretend you're talking to somebody.
Yeah.
And if you can pretend it's like, like you or like some hot chick you met in high school and you're trying to impress her, that's even better. So, like, your stories are, like, way better than they actually are. Like, you could have drove to the store to buy milk, and all of a sudden you're fighting ninjas on the way to the fucking store because you're trying to impress her. That's what you got to do, man.
Yeah, great job, man. I wanted to tell you that today.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
So, all right, you ready?
Yeah.
This is a big one. This is a big goddamn story. Super Bowl. The halftime entertainment. The big artist, Rihanna. Okay. I don't know one fucking song this broad does.
Not one.
Originally, when I heard Rihanna, I thought she was married to Russell Wilson, but that's not even her. That's some other chick.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard her name before. After you sent me the article I read, she hasn't performed since, like, her last live performance was in 2019 or something like that.
I have no idea who she is. But honestly, for me, at this point, the halftime, I go take a piss. I go in the kitchen, I grab some more food. And then anybody that I've been shushing all night, I immediately like, hey, how you been? Blah, blah, blah. Chat them up so I can go watch the game again. Like, that's halftime.
I haven't been interested in a halftime show in a long time. I'm not even interested in the commercials anymore of the Super Bowl because they show them all before the fucking Super Bowl now.
Yeah, that sucks because they get leaked early and then they just release them. It's not as much fun. If you could pick a halftime performer, who would you pick?
Government mule.
There you go. I don't think a lot of other people will be entertained by that. That's fine. I have two. I would pick Metallica, who won't do it, obviously, or Weird Al Yankovic.
Weird Al would be good.
Al would fucking kill at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Show. Could you imagine him out there fucking doing the Super Bowl? Everybody's screaming, another one rides the bus and eat it. And fat. Dude, I'm going to fucking call the commissioner tomorrow and be like, you're fucking stupid. If Rihanna's going to do it, she needs Weird Al there.
Should we start a petition?
We should. This is ridiculous.
Well, we could. It might be a little too because everything's booked already. For next year, but we could maybe get it going on for the 2024. No,
you know what?
The Super Bowl will be in 2024, right? So
no, the Super Bowl will be 2023 because we're still in 20. We're still in. Where the fuck are we? 2022.
Yeah.
Are we still there?
You're right. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
So
it would be we could try and get Al booked for the 2024 Super Bowl halftime show. A petition. We'll start on whatever that petition website is.
Yeah, that one that's always bugging me for dumb shit like
change.org.
That's the one, man. I made a mistake signing up for that. Holy fuck. But yeah, maybe we can get Weird Al on there. It'll be a lot of fun.
That would be fun, yeah. So you're going with like a show, like a big show, because it's the halftime spectacular. I'm
going with what I would want to see.
Sure.
Like, I want Metallica to come out there and just be like, play the shit I like. I don't want to hear Enter Sandman.
Right.
I want to hear like their fucking kick-ass shit. I get it. They're trying to just pick popular artists. What? I get it. And that's fine. I'm going to take a piss anyways. I'm going to go get another beer.
The Flaming Lips would be a good halftime show.
That's a good one.
For like a big, like a show, like a big put on a show.
Yeah.
Like have somebody. I remember seeing the Flaming Lips one time at Marvin's Mountaintop in West Virginia for, it was for, what was that festival called? All Good Music Festival. And I remember seeing at the top of the crowd, it was on this Marvin's Mountaintop. It was a big giant hill, and a guy in one of those giant balls, like those big giant balls that you get inside of, and he just fucking rode that hill all the way down. Like the Flaming Lips, they put on like a spectacular like show,
I wouldn't mind
Zombie.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ministry's a band that I saw live. I've never had to sign a waiver for epileptic seizures going to a show before, but holy shit, I was with this chick, with my buddy's wife, and
you there?
All right, we're moving again. All right, I don't know if you could hear me or not, but Ministry had like a big sign that said, "This show may cause epileptic seizures."
Jesus Christ.
And the light show was so crazy. My buddy's wife goes, I can't watch this. I have to leave the room. She literally had to leave because of the light show.
Holy shit.
It was so fucking awesome. Crazy. Such a good band.
I've never had that happen to me. I've been to a show where an ex-girlfriend of mine might have taken too many mushrooms and we had to take her out of the room, and she had to sit by herself for a little while. And my other friend he's like, she just needs more Adderall.
Oh, that reminds me. In '96, I saw the Kiss reunion with all the original members, and this guy I worked with was like, "Hey, we had somebody cancel. You want to go with us? $50. We got a hotel room. Or you give us $50. Come to the show. Stay in the hotel room." I'm like, "Cool." So we're in this fancy fucking hotel downtown in Cleveland. We get over to the arena. We're in the 12th fucking row for the Kiss reunion. So Gene Simmons is literally right over my head when he goes into the fucking rafters to do God of Thunder. And I'm like, holy fuck. And then, so he was doing coke and shit all night. I don't do coke, so he's drinking, and we're all drinking. And the cannons go off. And his back just broke. He like went over backwards, and he's like, I'm broken. And I'm like, what do you mean you're broken, dude? So he's like, you got to help me get to the hotel. So he literally can't stand back up straight. So he's 6 foot. You know, I'm a little dude. So I'm trying to guide him through the streets of Cleveland. I'm drunk as shit. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Like, we're going to the Ritz. I don't know how to fucking get there from where we're at. So we're just wandering the streets, and I'm holding him up, and he's just leaning back, and he's like, where are we? I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. So eventually we found the hotel, and everything was okay, but it was so fucking crazy. When those cannons went off, his back just went backwards, and he's like, uh-oh. I was like, the fuck is this? I'm too drunk to deal with this. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I'll just put my hand right here, and we'll just walk around and fucking figure out where we're supposed to go. But it was awesome.
Let me ask you this: when he got back to the hotel room and did more cocaine, he was
he was
okay
fine
then,
after
right?
that. Yeah, he was fine.
Dude, I have the exact same story. Not 1996 and not at a Kiss concert, and there were no cannons involved, but there was a lot of drinking involved and cocaine. And I remember I told my buddy, it was at a Cabinet show at the Silo in Reading. My friend's band Cabinet was playing with the New Riders of the Purple Sage, and I forget who else. One other band was there, but I was fucking smashed. And like I remember leaving. I was like, we have to get out of here. I can't fucking stand anymore. And like I remember like just plowing through this group of people, and my buddy driving us back to the hotel, and I was like, dude, I have coke. I was like, I'll be fine. I just need to do more coke, but I can't see it. I can't fucking cut it up. I was like, just fucking hook me up, dude. Hook me up. So my buddy, he was like, he didn't do coke or anything at the time. So
well, I know how to chop it up and shit for other people.
Yeah. So he did that. He cut it all up for me, and he fucking actually. I was this drunk, Ray. He actually held.
He had to take your head,
and I went, and he went, and I was like, all right, let's fucking, fucking perfectly fine.
That's funny.
Everybody that came back then from the show, you know, I had everybody lined up when they got back. We were good to go. Yeah.
That's how it works.
I hate to advocate drugs or alcohol, but they've always worked for me.
Well, once again, all these stories are hypothetical.
Right.
They may or may not have actually happened. And we're not advocating drug use, but we're also not condoning it, but we're also not saying it's a bad thing either.
Right.
You know, if you go through life and don't have any fucking stories, if you go through life and don't have any fucked up stories, what the fuck was the point?
Right, yeah.
Like, there's stories. I have stories I can't tell on this podcast. I can't because the statute of limitations aren't up.
Oh, I do too, Ray.
Once those are up, then we'll tell the stories, but
oh shit. All right.
We're getting close to our target. Yeah, I'm done with the news. Yes.
All right. Let's go through this really quick, and then we'll save everything that we had besides this for next week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to list you the top 10 most controversial Halloween costumes for 2022, since this is our first show of October. This is coming out on Sunday, October 1st, I think, whatever that day is.
So I'm gonna tell you before you start. I'm gonna tell you what your costume is.
Okay.
Are you ready? You're gonna be Carmy. Yeah, you're gonna be Carmy from The Bear. Blue apron, white T-shirt. You know, you could use black Crocs; those work. You know.
Okay.
I think you could pull that off. He doesn't wear black Crocs. He's got some more expensive shoes, But the blue apron, white T-shirt, and you can be Carmy.
Is Carmy? Which
Because
one?
I know
was
you
Carmy?
love that fucking show.
I do love that show, but
He's
it's
like
been,
he's the goddamn cook dude. Carmy Berzato, I believe.
Was he the
He's
main
like the main
character?
fucking character, man.
Oh yeah.
He's the main character. He's got the tats. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should be him for Halloween this year.
I could definitely pull that off. I've been a dick before, and I am a dick, so I could definitely get down with yelling at some people.
There you go. All right, give me this list. Let me hear what you got here.
So let's go with we'll start. These are in no particular order. All right.
All
but
right.
anything dealing with sexual harassment is unacceptable this year because of the Me Too movement in the last few years.
All right. When you get done, I'm going to tell you the most offensive costume I ever had, and you tell me if any of these 10 can even come close to it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So anyone like someone in a trench coat that has like a fake dick under it, like that's
okay.
You shouldn't do that. It's inappropriate.
Yeah, shouldn't do that. That's inappropriate. Jesus Christ.
It's a very real and traumatic form of sexual harassment, and these kind of costumes are not only offensive, but they may trigger those who have dealt with harassment themselves. Don't risk it, Ray.
I won't. No. Only on the rest of the year, it's fine, but not on Halloween.
Yeah, not just not on Halloween. That's fine.
Not on Halloween. It's fine the rest of the year.
Tuesday, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Next one.
All right.
A zombie version of dead celebrities.
Oh,
if you want to be David Bowie, you can be David Bowie.
Fuck yeah, dead Elvis, dead Bowie.
Do not dress up as a zombie version of Ziggy Stardust.
I disagree with this one. I think that's an excellent costume. Heath Ledger, any of these guys. You know what? They're celebrities. They're fair game. I disagree with that one.
According to this website, right, it's unacceptable to do that in the year 2022. Okay.
Who'd have thunk it?
This goes back to something that we talked about at the beginning of the show. This was once a very popular costume. It is not so much a popular costume anymore. Can you take a guess?
It was popular?
It was popular in the past, yeah. And we talked about a woman at the beginning of the show that someone maybe in the 80s could have dressed up as. But now it's inappropriate and should not be done.
I have no clue because I just don't know what's inappropriate.
A hobo.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I shouldn't have even said the word hobo. That's how offensive it is.
Oh my God. Home challenge? Is that what we're calling them now?
I think so. I think that is the appropriate.
Fuck that. I want to dress up as Boxcar fucking Willie. I'll dress up as Boxcar fucking Willie.
I'll have to kick you off of this fucking show, right?
It's not like it's fucking blackface, for Christ's sake.
Don't worry. I have an idea. I have an idea for your costume once I get through this list.
All right.
All right. Next one. You shouldn't do this. Don't ever think about doing this. Do not dress up as a terrorist.
Yeah, that's a bad
one.
It's
inappropriate.
That one I'll agree with.
Yeah. Osama bin Laden, generic member of ISIS. It's poor taste. It falls under the same heading as making light of tragedies. It says also, while we're at it, let's cross off people like Hitler, Putin, or anything that involves the Confederate flag.
I disagree with Confederate flag.
I'll disagree with, because like if you're going as like Dukes of Hazzard characters or something like that, the Duke boys were never.
I'll tell you, my family's from the South and they love that fucking flag. So, I know it's super inappropriate, But man, what a goddamn good-looking flag. Man, what a shame. And Hitler, always funny. I don't care.
It's kind of funny, yeah. And why not Putin? Like Putin, I mean, he's
because nobody knows who the fuck he is.
Our friend Bo Svensson wanted to kick his ass. There's an
I think that one's inappropriate because most people don't know who the fuck he is. Most people are dumb. Most people are dumb. I'm sorry, but I guarantee if I came to a Halloween party dressed as Putin, no one would know who the fuck it was. But last year I came as Wilson from Home Improvement. I had a fence, and I just held it up in front of my fence, and everybody knew who I was.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. All right. All right. Next one. Don't ever do it. Cultural stereotypes.
Yeah, here we go. Blackface. Yeah.
It's never humorous to do it. Actually, blackface is another category. No, you should.
Is it really? It gets its own category.
Yeah, it has its own.
Because it's even it's even more worse than if I wanted to go as say Jay-Z.
Yeah. So this is what I don't understand. Like why it says. Now this is this particular website, and I should have written it down, but I didn't. It says like. It says, if you or your child intend to pay homage to a beloved Disney character like Mona or Pocahontas, take care to dress with sensitivity. Focus on costuming linked to specific character, not general looks that have particular meaning, often marginalized groups of people.
See, I disagree with that. Dude, kids don't know the difference. If my kid wanted to be a fucking Mexican for fucking Halloween, like a specific Mexican, like someone he loved, like an actor, and that actor had a character who wore a fucking sombrero, I wouldn't tell him no, because he's not disrespecting that person.
Right.
Like, what's his face, who wore it on Community.
Chevy Chase.
Anyways, yeah. If my kid wanted to be that person, my kid's not saying that because my kid's a racist. My kid's saying that because he likes that person and he wants to be them for Halloween. So why the fuck would I tell them they can't do it?
Right. I agree.
Now, if my kid walks around with a fucking hat on, yelling nachos and fucking yeah all night, then yeah, now we got a problem because now my kid's just fucking with me and he picked that to make me look like an asshole. But
can you see me?
Yeah.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Your kid's walking around going.
You know
then
what?
We have a problem.
Give my kid a couple years, he may want that costume.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna ask. So I have a bunch of actually Mexican friends doing these roofs that I have. I'm gonna ask them tomorrow, and then I'll report back on the next show if they find. Like if I would want to go dressed up as one of my Mexican roofer friends, I'll ask them if that's inappropriate because I'm gonna go ahead and say that they're not gonna care.
Most people don't give a shit. Really, most people you talk to in daily life, they don't give a fuck. Right. Like they got enough fucking problems. Whether you want to be, Nacho Libre or fucking. El Guapo from fucking Three Amigos. They really don't give two fucks. They got bigger problems.
Yeah, and speaking of Nacho Libre, Jack Black was a white dude playing a Mexican, right?
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck he was playing, to be honest with you. I really don't.
Right, we have 5 more of these.
Holy shit, there's a lot of these.
Nothing to do with body shaming. It says, think about it this way. If it's something that you wouldn't say to your friend,
I'm all good then. I'm all good then.
Don't wear it as a Halloween costume.
I'll call you a fat fuck if you're a fat fuck. I don't care. I'm fat too. I don't give a shit. You know how many times? Do you know how many times a day at work these fucking assholes I work with call me fat? It's just like you're fat and hairy. Okay, well I'm white. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? Well, that's nice of you, but you're respectful.
I
The
guess
people
we
I
look
work
different,
with
though,
are dicks.
We might look different just because people only see our heads too.
Right. They can't see my beer gut. Like, that's what I got a beer gut. You can't drink 20 beers a day and not have a fucking beer gut, Casey.
No, you can't. Right?
I fucking earned that thing. It's my God-given right as an American.
You fucked your camera up.
Ah, damn it. There we go.
All right. Yeah, there's on this website, there's a picture. It's like and apparently these are all real costumes that have been pulled from the shelves, or at least are getting a lot of flack. And you can go on Amazon and buy this. It must be a little person, who is also obese. Because it's like the person, like if I had the costume, it would look like I was sitting on top of this fat little person.
Oh, no shit.
Like that's the costume.
Like a Oompa Loompa?
Yeah.
You're riding a Oompa Loompa around?
Yeah. That's you shouldn't do that, right? We're learning a lot here.
I'm not, but
anything related to COVID-19 is out of the question.
For crying out loud.
For 2022, you cannot do it. This pandemic has killed over 1 million people in the United States, Ray.
So you've ruined my costume for this year, which is just wearing a fucking mask. Just a mask.
Well, that I think you can still do. I've seen people here in California, they unless they're dressing for Halloween already, they're still driving around in their cars with
by themselves
with masks on. I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to get political, but the pandemic it's over.
Yeah, it's over. Move on.
You can move on.
Yes.
I'm okay with wearing. If you want to do anything with the, if you want to wear like I think the costume that I saw was actually the germ itself that you.
That's a good one.
The COVID germ.
Right.
It also says resist the urge to dress up in a medical hazard suit or anything resembling a virus or a victim of the virus itself. So they're really limiting what you can wear this year for Halloween.
Ridiculous.
Anything transphobic. You cannot wear anything transphobic.
I ain't touching that.
If I have time to edit this video, I am going to add the picture that they had going along with this description. It says, take this tranny granny costume, for instance.
Wow.
It got pulled from Walmart shelves after
Walmart had a tranny granny costume?
That it got pulled from the Walmart shelves after consumers pointed out that not only does it make a joke about transgender women, it also uses a transphobic slur right in the name. Tranny granny. Yeah, so just don't do it, Ray.
Nah, I'll pass on that one.
All right, number 2. These last few, these were in order as the top most controversial.
Okay.
Anything blackface, like we mentioned earlier.
That's out. Yeah, I'm pretty offensive when it comes to costumes, but I won't do blackface. Nope.
Yeah, don't do blackface. Now, here's my question to you. What if you put blackface on and you are portraying the role that Robert Downey Jr. played?
I'll allow that in Tropic Thunder. Yeah, I'll allow that.
Thunder,
that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Playing a dude, playing another dude.
Right. But if you're trying to play like one of the characters from Bamboozled, that's not good.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
All right. And the number one, still for 2022, the number one controversial Halloween costume is a Holocaust victim.
I got all these beat. I got
Still
every
ranks
one of
up
these
there.
beat, dude.
And several retailers have previously come under fire for selling an Anne Frank costume for little girls. Many places pulled it off of the shelves after customers complained, but others still offer similar looks as World War II evacuee girl or child's 1940s girl costume.
I got every single one of these beat for offensive.
Wait, before you tell us what your offensive costume was, I would like to give you an idea for a costume this
Okay.
year.
Yeah. What do you want me to go as?
I think you I think you should go as a zombie version
Mhm.
of Ziggy Stardust who's homeless who's a
Who's homeless
terrorist,
transgender?
who's a homeless terrorist who's also an Indian, a fat
Yeah.
Indian.
A fat Indian. Oh, that's good. That's fucking good. All right, I got all these beat. When I was in high school, I went to a fucking Halloween party wearing a diaper with a coat hanger bent around my head as a failed abortion attempt. You want to talk about
I
offensive?
shouldn't be laughing at this.
I didn't know any better.
Right.
I was in high school. I didn't know any better.
All right, I'll accept it.
All right.
I'll allow it.
Thank God, because... And I will say, anybody who wants to visit us on Instagram or Facebook can comment whether they think my costume was more offensive than anything that Casey came up with. So
We are at Deluxe Edition Pod over at Instagram and Twitter. You can find all of our previous shows over at deluxeedition.show. We are also a part of the Deluxe Edition Network. You can find all the great shows over at deluxeeditionnetwork.com. The podcast of the month this month is The Return of the Living Flet. Check him out, and we're adding shows constantly. I think we're up to 16 shows now.
yeah,
Tons of great shows. You can get merch over at whatamaneuver.net/collections/deluxe-edition. And if you'd like to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/deluxe edition pod or sign up for our YouTube exclusive perk stuff, $7 a month, and you get a lot of cool stuff. After 3 months of being a member, I'll send you a t-shirt, and then things keep getting cooler after that. So check it out. Ray?
nice. Yeah.
Plugs?
Nope. No
Check
plugs.
Ray over. Check Ray
no
out.
plugs. Just come back next week and check out Deluxe Edition. That's my plug today. Come back,
right.
my friends.
Come back next week. We'll be talking about X, Pearl, and Maxine.
Yeah.
We'll also be talking about the top 5. Each of us will be giving our top 5 movies, horror movies from Halloween themselves. And if you have any of your own, please comment over on Facebook, where we have a group and all kinds of stuff. Come find us and tell your friends, leave reviews, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ray. Great show, man. Thank you.
You too. See ya.
My fucking mouse